Hi, let's get me a drink. So, we finished last time with women. Yeah, how women are in like historical China. So now we're going to start getting a little bit complicated. Dang, hold on. Okay, sorry. I got an email right then that was school related, and I was like, do they have information for us about next year? And they don't. But so we're about to get complicated. Complicated because we're getting into some philosophies. Okay, listen. The biggest difference between a philosophy and a religion. In a religion, you have somebody or something you are worshiping. You're worshiping something. Okay? Even if the God is great God hair, you're worshiping something. All right? In a philosophy, there's nothing being worshiped. It's just something you live by, a way that you choose to live. Okie dokie? There are other differences, of course, but that's the big one. Are you okay? Ray's wandering around. What was I going to say? Oh, philosophies also. I can usually tell real quick who likes philosophy and which kids would rather just jump off the roof and not deal with philosophy at all. I don't find a lot of middle ground when we deal with philosophies, and we will quite a bit. We will deal with some here, and then we'll deal with them again with ancient Greece, and then we'll deal with philosophies again next semester. What's the matter? Come here, gorgeous. Yeah. Freya wants up. You know what? My dogs are Chinese. For real. They're Pekingese. Pekingese. They're Pekingese. Pekingese used to be, for real, I'm not making this up, used to be lap dogs. And the emperors, they would just sit on the laps. Or even some of the like mini Pekingese could fit in the big sleeves, and they were sleeve dogs. I'm not making this up, I promise. And the Pekingese from Peking, China, Pekingese, for real, I mean it. My gorgeous little babies, they're heritage wise Chinese. I know you would expect me to have a European dog. Nope. Look at my baby girl. Look at you. You are so gorgeous. You are so gorgeous. So, philosophies. The other thing with philosophy that tends to drive people a little bit insane is that philosophies, it's circular thinking. So there is no right, there is no wrong. And often where you start is right back where you started. Just lay down, gorgeous. It's all right. So kids get real frustrated or they really love it. Again, I very rarely see with students an in between. Here we go. So, as far as religions in China, I mean, of course, today is different, y'all, but historically speaking, we don't really have a lot of like religions that are Chinese, unless you include ancestor worship. Okay, who are your ancestors? Your grandma, your great grandma, your great 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 grandma, your great 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 grandma. It's all the people in your family who have come before you. They are your ancestors. Okay. The Chinese believed that whenever your ancestors died, their spirits didn't really leave you. I mean, they would sleep sometimes and stuff, but they didn't really leave you. and you should respect your ancestors, and you've got to remember them. You can't forget them. Okay? If you forget them, they'll make sure you remember them by causing some bad things to happen. Right here. I put revere, respect, remember, that's fine. Freya, baby, what are you doing? I wish you could see her. Her booty's here, but her head is here. It's all curled up. Sweetie. Yeah. So, ancestor worship. You aren't actually worshiping your grandma. You remember her. You respect her. You go to a shrine and you talk to her. You take food to her. You take flowers to her. You don't forget her. You have seen this in Mulan. In Mulan, when she's at that big shrine and she's talking, those are her ancestors, and she's talking to them. The Chinese believe that they hear you, that they're there, that if you revere them and you respect them, they will bring you luck. Good luck. If you don't, bad luck for you. Uh-oh, bad luck. It's not really religion, but it is a belief system, okay? There is something else that they did that isn't really a religion, but it is a belief system. It's the reading of oracle bones. This word right here, baby, I'm sorry. This word right here, oracle, an oracle is someone that tells the future. Freya, sweetie, I gotta use my hands, gorgeous. So why don't you come to this chair beside me, okay? Come on. Yeah, you just stay right there, gorgeous. Okay, sorry. So anyway, an oracle is someone that tells the future. Well, the use of oracle bones tell you the future, except here's how it's done. This is an oracle bone. Okay? What you would do is you would go to an oracle, someone who tells the future, and you say, okay, I want to know, I don't know, something. When will I get married? Or some crap like that. They're going to write the question down right here. They actually write the question down. Okay? Then they take a red hot poker, an iron poker that's been, or I guess it might be bronze, I don't know, but they take a poker that's been sitting in fire. Okay? They take it and they simply touch the poker to the bone. You don't jab it, you just touch it. The heat causes the bone to break and or crack. Like right here. Look at these cracks. Not this crack. That's a crack that's natural from the bone. These cracks right here. Do you see that circle? That was probably where the poker touched it. And then we have cracks. The oracles then read the cracks to get your answer. I can already hear you asking questions. And you're not even in the classroom. Every year I hear the same questions. Did people believe that? Well, apparently. Every year I hear other questions. What if they got it wrong? You can't ask an oracle a specific question, like, I don't know, who is the man I will marry and when? You have to typically ask something that is a little bit more broad Because especially if they're reading an oracle bone for a king, they're not going to give a specific answer. If I'm the king, will I win this war tomorrow? Well, if he wins, yay. But what if he doesn't win? Well, if I tell him he's not going to win, I might be killed for not trusting and having faith in my king. But if I tell him he's going to win and then he loses, well, I might lose my head. What do I do? Okay, king, I'm going to write on here, will you win the war? Let me take my red hot poker and I'm going to touch it. Okay, let me read the cracks. Well, these cracks are telling me that if the spirits will it, you will win. But only if they will it. Did you get a definite answer? Yep. Most of the time, that's what most of these things answers are going to be like. This right here is one of the most famous oracle bones, like in all of history, because it's all intact. It's not even a bone, though. It's actually a tortoise shell. Okay, look. These right here are not the cracks from the heat. That's the shell. This right here, it's not the cracks from the heat. It's the shell. What you're looking at, this right here was touched. And we have a couple cracks, one that comes up here, one that comes here. I don't think that's one. This right here looks like it was touched right here. And it's a crack coming off. This looks like it was touched. And we have a crack coming off this way and one that comes this way. Right here looks like it was touched. Sometimes it breaks it, sometimes it doesn't. But this one's a big deal one because it's still so intact. And I think it's the Shang dynasty. But I want the shell. Shang dynasty. Boom. Yep, right here. Shang. Okay, now let's look at the dates for the Shang. Here we go. 1600 to 1046 BC. That is same time period as the Battle of Kadesh. That is the Egyptian-Hittite War. So that you have a view of what we're talking about, time period wise. That's when the Egyptians and the Hittites went to war and they made the first written, that we know of, treaty. Okay? So, same time period. Just so you can kind of get your bearings about things. So the oracles are using bones or shells in this case to tell the future. Again, it's not really a religion, but is it a belief? Yeah. Okay. We're getting complicated. Now listen. We only kindergarten this. Buddhism gets complicated. And we kindergarten it. We do the basics. Okie dokie. So just like I've said in the past, if you missed this day in class that I taught and you're confused, please come see me. For real. I've told you before, there's no shame in going, okay, Buddhism? There is shame in sitting there and not getting it and not asking. That's just dumb. So if you have questions, come ask. It's okay. Because this is something else that I think it's easier to teach you in person when I can see your faces and I can see if you understand it or not. And it's easier to discuss it the way I do with our conversations. So come see me if you have questions because it gets complicated. Okie dokie. Okay, Buddhism. Look at this. Let me just read you, like, I don't know, the definition of Buddhism. Buddhism was founded by Siddhartha Gautama in India. Nirvana is a state of being that people can experience after death when they give up possessions and are enlightened by following the Eightfold Path and living according to the Four Noble Truths. Do you understand Buddhism now? Well, I have to live according to the Four Noble Truths. Okay. I have to follow the Eightfold Path. Okay. I'm trying to get enlightened. Okay. How do I do that? By giving up possessions. Okay. And then when that happens, I can experience nirvana. Got it. So you're good, right? Well, what the crap are the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and nirvana? What? Okay. That's like Buddhism in like one sentence-ish. All right? It's complicated, sweet angels. So, start here. His name is Siddhartha Gautama. Siddhartha Gautama. He is on your vocab quiz. He is one of your vocab words. He is someone you need to remember. I'm terrible at winking, but I try. Okay, Siddhartha Gautama, he's not Chinese. He's Indian. We definitely associate Buddhism with China because that's where it takes like such hold. But guys, Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, is actually Hindu to begin with. He starts his life that way, okay? So you should see some correlations, some similarities between Hinduism and Buddhism. You definitely should see that. They're not the same. Nope. But there are some definite similarities. We do still have the idea of like experiencing ultimate peace when you die, if you become enlightened. Okay, how do I become enlightened? Hold that thought. We do still have the idea of reincarnation. Here we go. But there is no caste system. There's no idea of moving up or down in castes, or if I'm in a lower caste this year, if I'm on a lower caste in this life, I was bad in my last life. That does not exist in Buddhism. Okay? So there are some definite correlations. Meditation. You do meditation. In Hindu, it's often yoga type stuff, but meditating, absolutely. Definite correlations. Not the same. This is a drawing, a painting, whatever, of Siddhartha Gautama. We don't really have anything of him specifically. We have no idea what he looked like. We have paintings, we have drawings, we have a million billion statues, but we don't have an actual, so your guess is as good as mine. He's from somewhere up here. I can't remember exactly. What would happen? I want, this map will be just fine. Yeah, this map is okay. Ignore all the Great Wall stuff. I'm looking at India down here, and of course China in this area. The Ganges River comes up this way, right? Well, he's from somewhere, a city on the Ganges River, okay? And he was a prince or a high noble or whatever. And he didn't really understand Why do we treat the Shudra, the non-Aryans, and the untouchables, the Dalit, so badly? Well, young Siddhartha, it's because they deserve it, because they had bad karma, and it's their punishment. Yeah, but if we treated them well, if we treat them badly, isn't that us having bad karma? And if we treated them well, wouldn't they move up fast? Like, I don't understand. Why is it bad to touch when I don't feel dirty when I touch an untouchable? Gautama hated the caste system. Hated it. There is no caste system in Buddhism. It's not there. He hated it. And at some point, he leaves. He gives up all of his possessions. He gives up all of his inheritance from his father coming down. He gives up his bride, his wife. I don't know if they were actually married yet or if they were just engaged, but he gives up everything and he just leaves. He goes into the mountains. Yeah, that's the Himalaya. He spends several years up there. Doing what? I don't know. Because I think I'd die. In fact, I know me. I'm not really a camper. I'd definitely die. Five years. Yeah, see, this right here, it's like written out. What I said, according to legend, the prince ventured outside the palace gates for the first time when he was 29. I thought he was younger, but that's okay. And he was so affected by the poverty and the suffering that he encountered that he renounced his lavish way of life, left his family, and for 5 years wandered through Nepal and into India, where he finally attained enlightenment. Okay, look. He comes in here, okay, and when he comes out, he's kind of weird. He looks crazy. No, I don't mean crazy like, oh, that's not what I mean. His clothes are tattered. He's been in the wilderness for years. His clothes are tattered. What has he eaten? What animals are up there? The abominable snowman? Good luck. He hasn't eaten a lot. His clothes are tattered. He's cold. But he's completely calm and zen. Totally calm. His body might be shivering, but people are like, oh, sir, here, you're cold. Here's a blanket. And he's like, I'm actually not cold. I see that I have goosebumps on my arms, but I'm not really cold. Sir, here's a steak. Are you starving? Oh, no. No, I'm not really that hungry. Sir, what's wrong with you? I am enlightened. I understand the purpose of everything. What? Siddhartha Gautama is said to be at perfect peace, just completely zen in his mind, just total peace, total calm. Even though technically, physically speaking, he may have been starving or he was dirty or whatever, he was at complete, total peace. How? Well, he had become enlightened. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Okay, look. When Siddhartha Gautama starts talking to people and they're like, well, I want peace. I want inner peace. He says, well, I can help you with that. I can teach you how to do that. But first, you must understand the Four Noble Truths. People are like, give them to me. I want to know the Four Noble Truths. I think I have some more statues, some more pictures of him. Yeah, this is a statue of him. This is showing you the spread of Buddhism. I'm going to come back to this. These are the Four Noble Truths. First of all, life is suffering. Do you agree? Second of all, suffering comes from that which we desire. Do you agree? Third, when you stop desiring things, you will stop suffering. Do you agree? And last, the way to stop the way to stop desiring things is to follow the Eightfold Path. Okay, let's put this in your language. What the heck? Life sucks. Life sucks because you want stuff. If you don't want life to suck, stop wanting stuff. The Eightfold Path is the way to stop wanting stuff. Okay, think about this. Right here, the second noble truth. Suffering comes from desires and wants. Suffering comes from desires and wants. So, you're sad today. You're suffering. Why are you sad and suffering? Your boyfriend or girlfriend broke up with you. And you want to be with them. You desire to be with them. So, the way to stop suffering is just to stop wanting him or her. If you don't want him or her anymore, you don't care that you broke up. No, that's not why you're suffering. Today, you're sad and you're suffering and you're stressed. Why? You have a math test. You want to have a decent grade. I mean, you are in advanced classes. You are in upper level classes, kids. You want a decent grade. You don't have to get an A, but I really want a C. So I'm stressed and I'm suffering. Well, the way to not worry about it, the way to quit stressing is to just not care. Don't desire that good grade. How about this? It's lunchtime. You guys all get in the car, right? You all pile in. And you look at the driver and you say, man, today I want to go to, I don't know, somewhere good. And he or she says, we're going to Rose's. Again. Bro, we've been to Rose's 5 times this week. Let's go somewhere else. I want a steak. And then you get all ticked off and you sit in the back seat. Why? Why are you suffering? Why are you angry? Why are you upset? Because you wanted a steak and you didn't get it. Or how about this? In class, 5 seconds ago. Put your phone up. And then you stare at me for the rest of the hour like this. Why are you mad at me? Because you wanted your phone. And I said no. Siddhartha Gautama says, that which we desire, that which we want, that which we possess, actually causes us suffering. If we don't want anything anymore, then we won't be upset when we don't get it. Because see, it's not the desire of being on my phone that is the problem. It's not being allowed to look at it that's the problem. It's not getting what you wanted That's the problem. He says, if you want something, you're always going to suffer because when you don't get what you want, you suffer. Now, he doesn't mean suffer like, oh, I'm suffering. No, he means suffer like you're mad, you're sad, you're hurt. That's all. That's all. You're just like, oh, I'm just stressed. I'm stressed. I can't get my mind to think about anything about blah, 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 blah. You're suffering. He says the way to stop that is to quit wanting things to be a certain way. Stop the desire. And you stop the suffering. What do you think? Do you agree? You don't have to. Some of you will, some of you won't. But that's what he says. He says, now listen, I know when I say just stop desiring things, he said, I know how hard that is. I had to leave my home. I had to leave my family, my inheritance. I had money. I had wealth. I had to leave it all. All those desires for that stuff had to go away. I wanted to eat something other than snow sometimes. And I had to teach and train myself how to stop wanting things. How do you do that? Well, you need to follow the Eightfold Path. See, the first thing in Buddhism that you need to accept is the Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering, and it's caused because of all of your desires and your wants. And the way to end that suffering is the way to get rid of your desires. Once you've done that, you're good. That's not true. You're on the way. Just kidding. But the next thing you got to do is how do you get rid of those desires? Because I can say, I don't desire it anymore. Is that a lie? See, I can tell all my friends, I don't want him anymore. Ugh. Is that true? Inside. He says, look, you got to work at it. It's hard. Here's how you do it. Just follow the Eightfold Path. Oops. The Eightfold Path, I don't like this as much as I like another visual that I use sometimes. There we go. Look at there, it came up. Here we go. I'd rather use this picture. Heck, here we go. Okay, look, I do prefer this one. This one's good for like quick referencing, yeah. But I personally like this one better to teach with. I think it's easier, more explanatory. I just made that up. Okay. Know the truth. Okay, according to him, that's where you are. You have heard the Four Noble Truths. Life is suffering. To get rid of the suffering, get rid of desires. Here's how you get rid of your desires, Eightfold Path. That's where you are. Now, you go. You go which way? It doesn't matter. It's a circle. I told you that philosophy is often circular thinking. This is a beautiful example. That's why I like this visual better than this linear visual. Because when you look at it this way, it's like, oh, I have to understand things first. Well, oh, I have to, oh, and then, and it's not really like that. So, first thing, you do know the truth, okay? You've been told it. Whether you believe it or not, that's your business, but according to Gautama, that's where you're at. Then you can either start controlling your thoughts by practicing meditation, resisting evil, respecting life, work for the good of others, Don't hurt people with your mouth and then free your mind of evil. Or you can know the truth and then start freeing your mind of evil. Don't say things. Okay, you do all this. Okay? This is not something that you do once and you say, did it, done, 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 woohoo, finished. No. Mm-mm. This is a lifelong thing. Now, you do become enlightened once you can do all of this stuff automatically. The word enlightened, we're going to have it later as a vocab word. Later, it means to know something, an idea. Right now, hopefully, you're becoming enlightened about Buddhism, okay? Just knowing something. But in this situation, it's like spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge. You understand why you exist. The age-old philosophical question, why do I exist? Why am I here? What's the purpose? You understand it. How? By living this way. Now, if he was in the mountains for 5 years, which I had to look it up because I don't remember, I just know several years, that means he became enlightened and could do all of this perfectly in 5 years. Most Buddhists will tell you it is a lifelong thing. You work at this constantly. And the idea is that you don't have to stop yourself first and say, oh, I shouldn't say that. That's going to hurt her feelings. You just automatically don't hurt people's feelings. It's automatic. You get so good at it that you practice this, that you have no more desires, no more selfish desires. Now, I have kids often, they're like, wait a minute, but isn't wanting to be enlightened a desire? Yes. Yes. We're talking about selfish desires, though. Wait a minute, miss. Isn't wanting to be enlightened and going, well, not going, but experiencing nirvana a selfish desire? Yes. But philosophical thinking, circular. Some of you will get it. Some of you will agree with it. Some of you will look at this and go, that's crap. And that is absolutely okay. It's okay for people to have opinions and different ideas. Please remember, I'm just the messenger. I'm not telling you this is true or not. I'm just the messenger. Yeah? Okay. Once you can do all of this and you're good and you have become enlightened, well, I understand the purpose of everything, the purpose of the world, the purpose of the universe. I get it all. And I'm totally zen and I'm totally calm and I don't desire anything. And I'm just peaceful. Then whenever I die, I will experience nirvana, which is, I already mentioned it with Hinduism. It's not a place. It's a state of being. Your soul is just that perfect peace. And that's it. Again, kids often have this idea of like a place that you live forever in death. Not in every religion or philosophy. State of being, you experience ultimate peace, nirvana. Okay? When you become enlightened, you become a Buddha. The word Buddha literally translates to the enlightened one. Once you've become enlightened, you are a Buddha. So, like, each one of you could, in theory, become a Buddha. Okay, listen to me, please. Siddhartha Gautama's Buddhism, which is what I teach you because I teach history, is not a religion. There's no worshiping of anything. Today, in the modern world, today, 20 whatever we're in, people think of Buddhism being a religion because certain groups in the world worship Buddha as a god. Siddhartha Gautama never intended that. In fact, if he knew it, he'd be like, no, you guys, the whole purpose is that you can become enlightened on your own. He says there is no God. In Buddhism, the idea is not to worship him. Every one of you could become a Buddha if you get enlightened. That idea of worshiping Buddha has definitely been a modern thing. The idea, look at these Buddha statues. Are you looking? Do they look like Buddha statues that you see in America? That one does. Whoop. That one does. That one does not. And that's because Buddhism has definitely changed a little bit with America. Okay, I'm not dissing you guys. Hi, I'm American too. But we in America, we like the idea of absolute peace. We like the idea of being enlightened. We don't really like the idea of giving up our desires and stuff, do we? But I want what I want when I want it. Buddhism is a little different. It started taking on a little bit of a different shape once it kind of came over to America. A lot of the Buddhas that you'll see in America look a little more like him. He's a little chubbier than your typical Buddha statues. See? That boy had him some steak and some cookies and some ice cream because he desired it. He wanted it. Look at the beads. The beads, desiring jewelry and wealth and stuff. Yeah, you're really not supposed to do that in Buddhism. Not the way Siddhartha Gautama wrote about it. If you look at these plain robes, now this one's really quite beautiful. I wonder where this one came from. Is it Tibetan? Oh, it's just one for sale. So it's not a historical one. I wanted to see if it said a city. Yeah, I don't know. It's another one that's for sale. But like when you look at these, they're very plain. Very plain. Because the idea is you're not supposed to desire the nice clothes and the jewelry and the steak and the ice cream and stuff. We in America tend to be a little more materialistic. Sorry. And there's this idea where if you like, what is it? Is it rubbing his belly or rubbing his head? I don't remember. But if you rub his belly or whatever, you get like a certain amount of luck. That has nothing to do with Siddhartha Gautama's Buddhism at all. Nothing. This is one of those beliefs that has definitely changed over time and based on where it was. Like, at the time, America versus China or whatever. But anyway, the idea is give up your desires and your possessions, and you won't suffer because the suffering really comes from those desires not being met. So if you can learn how to give up that desire, you experience no suffering. If I'm cold, but I don't desire a blanket, then I don't really even notice that I'm cold. Are you with me? If I can become enlightened, then I don't have another life and I experience ultimate nirvana, rest. If I don't get enlightened, it's okay. I have another chance. My soul gets reincarnated, and I have another chance. No big deal. Okay, for real. If you're sitting there right now and you're like, please come see me. Yeah? I'm trying to decide if I'm going to stop this video or not. I probably won't get more than Buddhism done in one class period, so I'm going to go ahead and stop as soon as I find my thing. Where is it? There it is. Okay, bye guys.